Well, later on this summer, between August the 1st and August the 5th to be exact, Ulverston's celebrating the life and achievements of its most famous son, I think it's fair to say, Stan Laurel, comic and comic genius, I suppose we'd have to say. Bill Cubin is a well-known chap around the town, and also the man who's charged with organising the whole event. Bill, you've joined me on T-Spot this afternoon because you have finally drawn together the final package that everyone's going to enjoy during the 5 days of celebration.
Yes, well, we have now more or less the final numbers of the people attending. The important thing is that this is an international convention, and although there have been national conventions held for Laurel and Hardy, this is really something special, and probably the only time it will be held this side of the Atlantic. Most of the American cities are now vying to have the convention, and of course this is the 4th international convention. The first was in Chicago, 78, second Hollywood, 80, and in 1982 it was in Detroit, Michigan. So this is something special.
It seems quite strange that Ulverston is actually vying with Hollywood to hold a convention. So just what exactly are you having to lay on for these people? They obviously will have very high expectations for the whole week.
Well, I think the special thing is, you mentioned the fact that this is the hometown of Stan Laurel, and he is regarded certainly within the Sons of the Desert as the greatest. Oliver Hardy, of course, came from Harlem in Georgia, in the deep south, but sadly there's not the same recognition in his hometown as there is in Ulverston. And the great attraction, of course, to the American Sons of the Desert particularly is to come over here and see where Stan was born.
Quite a stark contrast then, that perhaps might be fairly poignant for visitors from abroad. Just how many people are coming from overseas?
Well, altogether we have 220 from the States, 30 from Canada. We have them from Holland, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, France, Spain, and we even have a lady coming from Greece.
It seems remarkable that she's going to bother to make the trip from over there. I don't know, most people from here would rather go on holiday in Greece, I guess. So what about the events in that week? Is it very much a case of sitting back and just watching the films, or are you doing a good deal more besides?
Well, the great thing is that Laurel and Hardy made 105 films, and we have some 80 of those films which will be shown during the convention. There'll be virtually films showing the whole time. We're anywhere we can watch films. But the main events basically are in Ulverston on the Thursday. We do hope that people will come along and join and watch our parade. And of course we have the Coronation Hall booked for the day, and we'll be showing probably a unique thing. We have a musical, which is a musical tribute to Laurel and Hardy. It's written by two young boys from Manchester, and that will be shown on the Thursday afternoon in Ulverston.
Are the local people invited along to take part in just some of the events, or do you have to join the whole convention for the week?
No, we have a convention package for the 5 days, but we in fact do a day ticket, so if people want to just join us for perhaps the one day or the one event, we're quite happy, providing we can of course fit them in for banquets.
You're going to have hundreds, if not thousands, of people taking part in this. A huge thing to organise, so how are you marshalling them?
Well, we fortunately, within the Sons of the Desert in the United Kingdom, have some very active tents, Manchester, Liverpool, Carlisle, and we get together, we have meetings, and we do have a number of people we can rely on to keep our eye on things. And all we're really concerned about is that, providing we know who's coming and when and what they want to do, we would be only too happy to fit them in.
Let's get on with the actual events that you are squeezing into this week, then.
Well, I think we have, of course, unfortunately, not a lot of time in Ulverston. We have the full day on the Thursday, and of course on the Saturday, quite a number of them will be coming back in to enjoy the Saturday. But we felt that there was so much to do. We wanted them obviously to see the Lake District, so we have a day planned on the Friday. On the Saturday up on Lake Windermere. We also, of course, felt that as Laurel and Hardy were in shows in Blackpool, that we wanted a day in Blackpool. So we've booked the Spanish Ballroom in the Winter Gardens for the day, and again we're having a parade down the Golden Mile. So there'll be lots of activity in Blackpool.
It'll be splendid stuff. So all the stars from the shows at Blackpool will be taking part in the celebrations that day with you.
Yes, well, we have Jeff Holland, of course, Spike in Heidi High. Unfortunately, their show is in the Winter Gardens, and of course, alongside we have Les Dawson doing the same thing in the Winter Gardens, and I'm hoping that we can get Les and the Roly-Polies to do the Honolulu Baby bit.
It strikes me you've got to be a bit of a card to really enjoy this week. You've got to really be able to let your hair down and enjoy the humour of Laurel and Hardy yourself.
Yes, well, it is easy because I'm very privileged. I've been to all the other previous 3 conventions. I know virtually most of the Americans personally, and there'll be no problem because it's like all events. When the first event, everybody starts off sort of from cold, but this event will go right from the minute we start because they're all friends and we all have the similar type of humour, and perhaps we just live Laurel and Hardy and appreciate the boys.
It's not many comedians and comic duos who've actually made it to this incredible status of having fan clubs long after they've died that keep their ideas alive and keep their humour alive. So what is it about Laurel and Hardy that makes you want to whiz off to conventions and brings hundreds of Americans across to Ulverston for conventions?
Well, Laurel and Hardy were really special. You see, their humour goes right through all age groups, and it's such a simple, honest type of humour that it appeals to virtually everybody. And the great thing is that we have people that will come to the convention that can't speak English, and yet they will just watch Laurel and Hardy films and know every move. It's universal. That's really special.
So this week of activities begins August the 1st until August the 5th. Where can anybody locally get the information about the week?
Well, anybody that wants information, if they just write to me, Bill Cubin, care of the Laurel and Hardy Museum, Ulverston. My number is Ulverston 52292. I'd only be too happy to give them the information they require.
Well, I wish you every success when the week comes around. Doubtless we'll be paying you a call during that time.
I do
as well.
hope so, and thanks very much indeed for having me on your show.
Rod McRae on BBC Radio Cumbria.